No one wants to fail. We were never trained to fail. But guess what? Failure is necessary. In fact, it is a part of success. May kasabihan nga na, don't ask how a sausage is made if you're eating one. So don't ask me how to get to that success, whatever success means for you in your head. Don't ask me how to get to it, because the answer is a lot of failure goes into success. And that's the truth. You have to learn to fail and fail forward. Hey guys, welcome back to Leadership Stack Live. If you have questions, business, consulting, you want to ask me about your business or a startup idea, I am going to answer that. So this is actually kind of like a free business consulting session. So we're going to go top to bottom. First is from Mr. RJ Legaspi. What is the right mindset for success and failure in starting up a company? First off, success is relative for each individual. Success could be happiness for one person. Success could be financial wealth for some people. Success could be financial security for some. As long as alam mong may makakain ka araw-araw, di gugutumin yung parents mo someday when they're old and gray, and you are able to provide good education for your kids. For a lot of people, that is already considered a success. For some people, they want to be millionaires, billionaires. There's different kinds of people who have different definitions for success. Now, if you say, what's the right mindset for success? It's having that focus to go after whatever success means for you. The biggest thing nowadays that hinders us from success, in my opinion, are distractions. And that's because we live in a world full of distractions. Your phone is the number one source of distraction in your life. It's not your hobbies, it's not your pets, it's not your husband or wife or parents or siblings or kids. It's your phone. Sarap sana na pag it's a real person cause for your distraction, because it's a relationship. But no, it's not. It's your phone. It's your smartphone. That's the number one source of distraction that we have today. Whenever there's a notification, Facebook Messenger, SMS, Viber chat, WhatsApp, whatever it is, we are wired to just pick up the phone and give it attention. Last week, I mentioned that my phone is always on DND. Actually, that pisses some people off because they couldn't get to me in time. And the reason why it's on DND is because I need my focus time. I consider myself a creator. And when I don't create things for the day, I feel like kulang yung araw ko. Like I wasn't able to do something productive for the day. When you create, you need focus. You can't be distracted. Your phone cannot be ringing and you answering the phone all the time. Creation requires deep work, and deep work happens within the first hour of focus. You have to be focused for 1 hour before you actually create something deeply. Okay, that's from the book Deep Work by Cal Newport. I do recommend that book. If you want to read it, get it. I read the real book. I was fortunate enough to buy it pre-pandemic and finished the entire thing. Brilliant guy, brilliant book. I do recommend that book for you. So for me, success is having focus. Really taking off everything that's distracting you, that's hindering you. It could be your phone. It most probably is your phone. So you have to maybe uninstall some apps, maybe turn it into do not disturb mode, like what I do 24/7. It's on DND, not even on vibrate. And that's because we're wired to just get our phone whenever there's a notification or vibration. Downside. Well, downside is mahirap akong kontakin. No? For some people who really need to contact me, I have to get back to them at some point in time. That's the downside. But how often does that happen? Not a lot. Really, extremely rarely does that happen. And plus, I can always get back to the person. That is something that I think you should have as a mindset. Just being relentless, being determined, just eliminating all the distractions in your life. The right mindset for failure, I think this is more important because a lot of people have good mindset for success. But the right mindset for failure, that is very, very important because a lot of people are failure averse. Di tayo tinuruan bumagsak sa school. Walang teacher magsasabi sa'yo na okay lang bumagsak. Zero. No professor, no teacher will tell you okay lang bumagsak. And that's because you pay for tuition fee. And that's because you're going to repeat it if you fail. So people are failure averse. We grew up that way. We were trained that way. We were hardwired that way. Well, guess what? life involves failure. If you want to succeed, and I tell you, a lot of failure goes into success, do you still want to go that route? Gusto mo pa rin bang subukang habulin ang success kapag sinabi ko sa yung a lot of failure goes into success? You will fail a lot of times. You know, a lot of people will say no. I would rather live a life where I can get by than live a life of success. And that's because I don't want to fail. No one wants to fail. We were never trained to fail. But guess what? Failure is necessary. In fact, it is a part of success. May kasabihan nga na, don't ask how a sausage is made if you're eating one. So don't ask me how to get to that success, whatever success means for you in your head. Don't ask me how to get to it, because the answer is a lot of failure goes into success. And that's the truth. You have to learn to fail and fail forward. You see people who are successful, they're on top of a mountain, maybe. You see them as an overnight sensation. But guess what? That mountain is full of dead bodies. And those dead bodies are the dead bodies of the person standing on top. They failed a lot of times. They died a lot of times. And they were resilient enough to just get back up and climb again. Climb on top of their dead body. Saklap pakinggan. But really, that's kind of what it feels like. That's kind of what it feels like when you're trying to get to success. Because you have to fail a lot of times. A person standing on top of a mountain has climbed a mountain of his or her own failures. That is the truth. And if you want to be a successful entrepreneur or a businessman someday, that is pretty much the road you're going to have to travel. There is no shortcut unless you're going to do it in a dishonorable fashion or an underhanded fashion. Then you could probably do it in a much shorter time span. But, I'm a man of faith. I believe that there is a God and judgment comes someday. So my advice is do business with honor, do business with integrity, fear God, love God, and make sure that when you're doing business, you do it right. The moment you do it wrong, kahit konti lang yan, the moment you do it wrong, you're going to go down that rabbit hole and it's very hard to climb back up. Always remember, everything is given to us by God. And if you're not a good steward, meaning you don't take care of the stuff that's entrusted to you by God, nandadaya ka, you cheat, or you do under the table, it's going to come back to you. Right? God's going to come back and we're going to get what's coming to us. That is what I believe. From Cedric Cho, thanks for tuning in. Question is, can you share with us your fair share of moments of failure? Fair share. The first thing that comes to mind is when I was hiring people. I failed a lot in my hiring process. That's because I have a strength and a weakness. My weakness is I trust people too much. My strength is I trust people too much. So it's a strength if the person I'm trusting is really good, honest, and high honor. They really want to do the job well. They're responsible. They're disciplined. It is a strength because we will work really well together. But it is a weakness if the person that I'm trusting is the wrong kind of person, is dishonest, leaks out, gossips, and is not responsible for the work that he or she has to do. Then I get a lot of damage. And unfortunately, early on in SEO Hackers' time, I hired a lot of wrong people. And I trusted them completely. So that was a huge mistake on my end, huge moments of failure. It was a disaster. The slander against me and SEO Hacker would go all the way to universities that really has nothing to do with me and has nothing to do with my company. So ganun na siya kalala, no? Umabot na sa kung saan-saan. I have no idea why they would do that. As far as I'm concerned and as far as my memory is concerned, I have never wronged these people. But they must just be the wrong kind of people that I hired. And it was wrong for me to trust them too much with information that I shouldn't have trusted them with. That was definitely a huge moment of failure for me. Other moments of failures would be probably when I call people out in public. So that is a weakness of mine. And that is because I'm an extremely high D in the DISC spectrum, a very dominant person, always asking when can this be done? When's that going to be done? Why didn't you finish it on time? Why did this happen to this project? So I'm very task-oriented. My empathy is not extremely strong. Well, it's not strong at all, actually, because I'm more of a say it like how it is guy. And I'm very frank, very truthful. Sometimes people don't like to hear the truth if you don't say it right. So I tend to not say it right. I tend to call people out in public. That is a very big mistake. And I do honestly regret those times that I did that because it's wrong and you lose people's loyalty that way. So if I had to do it all over again, I would do it one-on-one, privately, or in a close circle of trust. At least we all know each other, we're honest with each other, and it's fine for us to call each other on our blind spots. So from Mark Davis, what's your biggest mistake in your business? I would say the same is the hiring process. It's a common mistake. It's not uncommon for entrepreneurs, especially first-time entrepreneurs like myself, to have a sucky hiring process where my hiring process was like this. Oh, I need someone in this position. So I'm going to search in Facebook and post it there. And then people would apply. I interview them, one seating, and then I say, you got the job. And guess what? They burned the job down. And what makes it even worse is I need to fix that and do the job myself. So it doesn't make sense that I have to get them and pay them to do it and they burn it down. And I would have to do it anyway. And then they go around gossiping and slandering the company and me. So it is a big mistake. And how you solve that, take time. Take time in your hiring process. Right now, our hiring process is a lot longer than what it used to. So we have a 6-step hiring process. A lot of our applicants actually tell us that it's too long or it's the longest hiring process that they've ever had. But here's the thing. We get the best people out of that hiring process. And I'm not the only one saying that because I'm now working with the Execom or board members. And they say that we really get good people now compared to when I was the only one hiring. So yeah, that's the biggest mistake. Patrick Miguel, what's the one thing you consider your greatest failure that led to your success? Well, I failed 28 units in college and LaSalle wanted to kick me out because of my failures. That's a lot of failures, by the way. And those failures are because of cutting classes and because of my absences, because I got so addicted to data. And those failures led me to my last 2,000 pesos in the bank and in my pocket. As painful as it is, I wasn't always a personal finance management guru or thought leader. I really wasn't. I was broke. And I guess that failure led me to humble myself before God. And I told him, I just want to start a blog for you because my passion is writing. And I started the God and You blog. And if you haven't heard the story yet, the God and You blog was where I wrote about my faith, but no one was reading my stuff. So I searched in Google, how do you increase your readers and subscribers? And SEO kept popping up. So I studied SEO. And when I learned SEO, I applied it to the blog. Readers started coming in and my traffic went up. And I realized maybe some people need to learn this and they need it as a service. So I started the SEO Hacker blog. And that blog, I just wrote all my strategies, tactics there. People started reading it. Then people started to hire me. And I started out as a freelancer, really, a one-man team. But because the projects kept coming in, I had to hire more people, finally rent an office, and we grew and grew and grew from there. But it really stemmed from, I guess, my failure in college. 28 units of failure brought me down to my knees. My last 2,000 pesos, I gave it up to God. See, God will use your weakness and God will bless a lot of people with it, like what I'm sharing with you now. Imagine that kind of failure leading to me sharing what I know with you guys. All of the stuff that I'm telling you now, I hope it's helpful to you. I hope that it's valuable to you. And I cannot be doing this if I didn't go through that kind of failure.